Welcome to our weekly cybersecurity briefing. So glad to have you here at our weekly cybersecurity briefing. Our agenda today is introduction, current cybersecurity landscape, recent cyber attacks and breaches, cybersecurity best practices, FTC compliance, if there's any updates regarding that FTC compliance, and we'll have our closing remarks. So thank you for being here. It says a lot about you. I say that every week because I believe it. It really means a lot that you're here because whether you're a business owner, a C-suite executive, or middle management, or you say, I just show up here, I work here, and I want to learn more about cybersecurity, kudos to you. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, please feel free to email hello@rethinksecure.com. We're happy to take those questions and answer them. This briefing is 15 to 20 minutes long to get you the information you need and to get you back to work. So who are we? I'm Garrett. I'm the CEO here at Vandernet. As you know, everything changed during COVID, and cyber attacks have just continued to go up and up and up and up and up. They are just a growing problem. They're not going away. So we have to be strategic, and we have to be able to deal with the situation at hand. Vandernet is a cybersecurity focused consultant and a solutions provider, which means we are cyber security. That is what we live and breathe every single day. We enable your business to grow securely, help reclaim your time, and outsmart your competition. So cybersecurity landscape, latest trends, threats, and developments in cybersecurity with a focus on how they impact you. This week, we have a specific one. It's a phishing alert. It seems to be like we've done a lot of training on phishing as general, like blanket training on phishing and trying to educate people, right, on what not to click on. And frankly, a lot of it had, it was pretty obvious. The sender was crazy, or the verbiage inside the actual email just sounded a little bit off. Maybe you're not some prince from Nigeria reaching out to you, but as this has evolved, we've gotten smarter as a society to look for phishing emails. But then this came through over the last probably 3 weeks. We've seen this several times. And we just want to bring it to your attention. It's super important. What people are doing, the hackers have made it look like it's a legitimate SharePoint share with you. And I blurred out the person that it came from, so that way I wouldn't reveal who had the VEC compromise. But essentially, they fell for something that looked very similar to this. And what's really kind of convincing is there's a couple of things. It says the sender in the subject line, so-and-so shared this with you, right? Just like it would if it came from a SharePoint share in Microsoft Office 365. But then you'll see, here's the document that, and then once again, it says that person's information. Historically, this would have been some bogus just information, here's a document that's been shared with you. But it actually had the person's name of the person sending it to me, and it was legit. It actually came from that person's email, which, what does that tell you? They got a similar email just like this. They clicked open, they fell for it. It doesn't matter if you have, the industry's training on two-factor authentication. In this particular case, it doesn't matter if you had two-factor authentication set up because they're able to bypass two-factor authentication. You know why? Because you're already logged in. And so if you were, if they were trying to steal your credentials or set up another password for your account and try to log in on their computer, they would get hit by two-factor authentication. But because you're already logged in and you click this, they're able to bypass it, two-factor authentication. So what happened was this individual clicked on this, then it emailed out to their entire contact list, and it's legit. So it just it's like a gift that keeps on giving. I'd say it's a terrible gift. We have good gifts and bad gifts. This is a bad gift. You don't want to get this gift. So people are falling for this. So if you need to train your organization, is what I'm trying to say, on this specific notification. It looks like a OneNote share. That seems to be the common indicator. Like all the ones that I've seen of this is a OneNote share. So you can have them look out specifically for the OneNote. But the other thing that is misleading and convincing is this. You see the privacy statement. It says this email is generated through, and then it said the organization's name. Use of Microsoft 365 and making content that it can be controlled by, and then the organization's name again. Once again, not only the person that sent it to me, but the organization that he works for, its name was in there as well. So be on the lookout about that. Be educating about that. We don't want people falling for this. So recent cyber attacks and breaches, we're going to get right into it today. We're going to have 4 specific things that we're going to share with you. One is Russia cyber firm Kaspersky, to shut down U.S. operations after a ban. Now, maybe you've heard of Kaspersky, maybe you haven't heard of Kaspersky before. Kaspersky's been around for a long time, and to be honest with you, in my early IT career days, they were on the forefront leading cyber, like antivirus, and they had some amazing tools that did a really great job. Kaspersky is Russian, from Russia, and so the U.S. about a week ago sent out a U.S. ban against Kaspersky, and so we're gonna just read this article just real quick, get some information about it, and then we'll go from there. So let me get this for you. 1 second. Move it over. All right, so when we look at this article, it says Russia cybersecurity lab will gradually wind down its U.S. operations to lay off U.S.-based employees after the Department of Commerce announced a ban on the firm selling its products in the United States. Kaspersky said Saturday the shutdown of labs operations will start July 20th, ending nearly 2 decades of the company's operating in the country. This is huge because they say the company, has carefully examined and evaluated its impact on the U.S. legal requirements and made a sad, difficult decision. And so it says U.S. officials have claimed that the Russian government could use Kaspersky popular antivirus to surveil Americans through hacking or data collection. Kaspersky strenuously denies those claims, but more than 400 million people and 240,000 companies worldwide use Kaspersky Lab software. And so we're seeing that the U.S. government is being proactive and trying to save U.S. citizens from being hacked, or the Russian government having majority control potentially over that company, and it's could be a cybersecurity risk to your business. So if you are using Kaspersky, we highly recommend you to get off of it as soon as possible to protect your organization. Next, we've had United Healthcare got hacked, and out of the wake of that, it was just absolutely catastrophic in regard to the amount of information that got leaked. And RiteAID hacked. Ransomware gang says it has data on millions of customers. And we're not going to go look at this specific article, but it is extremely important to note that the problem's not going away. It's unfortunately getting worse. And so just more and more just comes out of organizations that maybe they did have some cybersecurity in place, but what we're evaluating and what we're understanding from a lot of these organizations are either A, they can be sophisticated attacks, or they just simply don't have enough in place. And it's extremely important to partner with a cybersecurity professional, right? To know that your organization has the necessary things in place to protect it, or that they're rethinking what secured looks like on a daily basis. So AT&T reportedly gave $370,000 to a hacker to delete its stolen customer data. Now, this happened earlier. I think it was in April when this hack originally came out, that all of AT&T's like customer data and information had been leaked. And now we're finding out that they paid a $370,000 ransom to a hacker to delete the stolen customer data. You would think, being a bigger company, that they would know that they should not be paying ransoms to hackers. And what this does is it just is positive reinforcement to the hacker community to say, if you hack us, you will get paid. And we have to be diligent, from a defense standpoint of protecting the organization, but proactive as well to predetermine, like, we're not going to pay a ransomware or a ransom if asked to pay it. And hopefully, if we have personal identifiable information, we're encrypting it, and we're putting additional security measures in place to protect it. But it's like AT&T needs a slap on the hand, because they should not be paying a ransom to cyber criminals whatsoever. And for somebody to be able to access that level of the amount of data is really, really alarming. So don't pay a ransom. Be prepared on the front end. Know what you're going to do, how you're going to respond, an incident response plan. And paying a ransom should not be part of your incident response plan. Just duly note that, please. So next, negligence case has been filed against CDK over cyber attack. So this is huge, because last week we talked about how CDK paid a ransom, millions of dollars worth of ransom, and that has shut down auto companies, auto dealerships across the entire United States, and possibly in Canada more. I just know specifically several thousand dealerships were shut down in the United States alone. And we are going to look at this article on CDK. And so 1 second, let me move this. So it says a negligence claim has been filed against CDK over the cyber attack. In June, the cyber attack of CDK, the company that provides financial services to dealerships, crippled both the company and thousands of dealers across the country. Now the dealers and other businesses that relied on the company are claiming CDK was negligent. And you say, why were they negligent? Well, I'm sure through additional forensics, so we're going to find out more specifically about how this hack happened. But if they can shut down an entire network for weeks on end, and there's no quick recovery point to recover to the point where they were when they advertised that they could do that, those are indications of definitely negligence. And so we're going to see this play out, but it affected, I think, nearly $1 billion. It says that in the 3.5 weeks between when the attack began on June 19th and the apparent end on July 15th, which, by the way, was only like 3 days ago, over 1 billion and 56,200 new car sales were lost. That attack had different impacts on each business. And it says that, one dealership is claiming that it was unable to cut checks through CDK's system and had to resort to using pen and paper for the process. It was unable to access certain rebates, incentives being offered, this which cut further into potential sales, scheduling for vehicle service. I mean, this is a huge company. Like, this is like, they always say, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Which at the internet, that's why, like, our security products aren't from a single provider. Like, we use an entire array of security products to defend our customers. And part of that is, if an event were to happen, similarly to one piece of software, we have so many protection mechanisms inside to help mitigate additional risk to the business. And so these auto dealerships are trying to go to a single pane of glass, a single piece of software. And this is a good example of what the ramifications are, putting all of your eggs in one basket. So to continue, cybersecurity best practices. Today, I want to specifically talk about the big idea. Don't just take what your vendor is telling you to do. Make sure you understand the ramifications of those decisions are. And the reason why this is extremely important is I'm currently working on a very, very large financial services investigation. Like, we're working on a pretty wide attack vector. And what we're finding out is this financial services vendor was telling their clients to do this specific action. And this is in the banking institution world. And where this becomes a big problem is there's a lot of times that even ITs and banking institutions or financial services world, If a vendor tells them to do something, they don't question it, they just do it to make sure whatever vendor software is working appropriately that it needs to be done. This is a big problem because what this does is if you're not pushing back or you don't have a security team that is mindfully aware of what's being asked of your organization, the next thing you know, you could open yourself up to a big liability, a big opportunity. And honestly, just like we saw with CDK, it could be considered gross negligence. And so you need to make sure that if you have to understand the ramifications of what your software providers are asking you to do, and you need to be able to know what they're asking you to do could open you up to risk. And if you don't have that level of expertise in house, then it's absolutely something that you should be seeking for outside your organization. So the big idea, once again, is don't just take what your vendor is telling you to do, truly look at it and say, what security ramifications is there to my business for doing this? So I want to say thank you for being here. If you have any questions, we'd love to engage with you at a free 15-minute cybersecurity strategy session at Vandernet. Scan that QR code, email dkane@vandernet.io. We are here for you. We are here to educate. We love educating, and we will be here again next week, Thursday at 1:30 Central Standard Time, to educate you on what you need to know and what's changed in the last week. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon.